I think every single person in this locker room is a competitor at the highest level. So, yeah, when you feel as if your backs are against the wall, you never have to feel like you got to do it by yourself.
Unbelievable throw. Under pressure, sacked by Quinnen Williams. Right sideline, Uzomah's got it.
You look to your left and your right, you got guys out there with you that our whole point is to help each other.
This one to Mims. That's Corey Davis climbing the ladder.
To be able to go out and lead these guys, just to know how hard these guys work and how important it is to them, and then you get that chance to lead them. Everything that happened that needed to happen for us, it almost felt like kind of like a sign, like get like a second chance almost.
Gets extra pushes, running left.
Maybe a little extra life breathing in the locker room.
Touchdown Jets.
Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I've got Green Bean to my this way, and I have Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I just want to see where this all goes. I think while we're live tonight, we're going to get some big news. What do you guys think?
I think you're absolutely right. O'Leary, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to talk about who has leverage, why the Packers are going to get every single draft pick and every good player on the Jets roster. And yeah, that's it.
All right, boys and girls, if you are new to the stream, hit that like button. For every 25 likes we get on this stream, we're going to give away, or we're going to get a qualifier for our t-shirt giveaway. It says the jersey at the bottom. I should take that away. We are not giving away a jersey tonight, boys and girls. Sorry.
We're already three qualifiers in. Just getting this is great. You guys are off
I
to a
love
good
it. See,
start.
Oh, I won.
oh, see, look, O'Leary.
Yeah, congrats. We're going to end it right
Qualified. Qualified.
there. Oh. That's what it is.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt qualifier. If you're watching after the fact, drop a comment down below and be entered into next week's t-shirt giveaway. And if you guys are hopping into the live chat, we got a spicy poll question in there right now. Which word currently triggers you more? Is it Hitler or is it leverage? I feel like leverage is the overwhelming favorite right now. All of us have probably been beaten senseless with the term leverage based on the Packers-Jets negotiations. So I feel like that's a really good place to start. Green Bean, how are you feeling about the leverage in the negotiations for Aaron Rodgers? Who do you think has it, or how would you maybe describe it?
Right to it. I want to just point out that Matt O'Leary won again. That's 2 times in a row he was qualified. Nightbot's
doubler.
all over O'Leary today. Number one, I think the idea is Sauce Gardner 1 week. It's Jermaine Johnson this week. All these guys, it's funny. I had a let's call it a conversation with somebody, a Packers fan on Twitter, and he was going on this diatribe about how if the Jets want the Packers to take Corey Davis, that's another draft pick because we're taking $10 million from there. I said, dude, you do realize, please, just if you're going to argue these points, can you just get your shit together before you come over to Jets Twitter? Because Jets Twitter knows what it's talking about, and we can cut him. It's no benefit to us of you guys taking Corey Davis. Cut him tomorrow. It's free. And you're not taking anything from us. So I think the biggest thing other than the word leverage for me has been the inundation with moronic fans, not just Packers. Packers fans are fine. It's the moronic presentation of these arguments, and somehow the press is biting on it. And then today we hear we're lowballing them. What happened to Jermaine Johnson? What happened to a first in Jermaine Johnson? That's not it. Now we're lowballing them. Nobody knows shit, and it's just, again, the most tiring thing for me is just arguing with people who don't know what they're talking about.
Ooh, Matt, how are you feeling about this whole leverage thing? Who has it, and where does it sort of stand in these negotiations?
This is gonna be a really hot take, but how about neither team? I think both teams need this to happen. So I was talking to some, they were like, leverage is someone who wants the deal to happen. The person who needs the deal to happen doesn't have leverage. I said, so basically both teams need it to happen. So neither team has leverage. Obviously, the Jets need the quarterback. The Packers can't have him on the what are they going to do? Are they going to wait until training camp and have him show up and Jordan Love have to answer questions about why Aaron Rodgers is here? It's so silly. It makes sense for both sides to get this thing done sooner rather than later.
So for me, I think the leverage shifts throughout the year. I think right now the leverage is with the Jets because we don't need to trade for Aaron Rodgers before the draft. Doesn't have to happen. You can sit back and you can say, we don't need him till the end of July. Why would I offer you a pick right now that you're being unreasonable about? You want that first round pick? I don't need to do this. We can wait. Let's wait till post June 1st. I think as you go, once you get closer to training camp, it swings into the Packers' favor then because now the Jets are panicking. It's like, okay, we got to get him in here. We need him. We don't want him to miss offseason programs because now all of a sudden you have this issue that you kind of had last year with the Packers where he wasn't synced up with his wide receivers, all that good stuff. And for me, it's to the Packers' benefit to move him. It's to the Jets' benefit to trade for him because we don't want to pivot to Stafford. We don't want to pivot to Cousins. We don't want to necessarily pivot to Lamar, or not all of us. Ooh, sorry. So that makes a lot of sense. I do think post June 1st makes a lot of sense for the Jets. There's no reason for us to make a move prior to that because after June 1st, you're now talking about the Packers having a little bit more salary cap space and that $60 million bonus that we've all been talking about. Maybe Douglas is trying to get them to eat some of that bonus. So that way, when he finishes after 2 years with the New York Jets, we're not eating as much dead cap hit at that point because the Packers got to eat it right now. And with them trading him post June 1st, they make more cap space for that bonus to accelerate and hit their cap immediately. So maybe Douglas says after June 1st, hey, I'll give you the 2024 first. No questions asked, but you eat $20 million of that $60 million bonus, and that's how you get the first round pick. And we'll do a conditional pick in 2025 based on how he plays this year. He doesn't even necessarily have to play in 2024 if that's, the way you want to kind of spin it. I think that's kind of where I would go at this point because if the Packers are saying, no, we need a first round pick. Oh, no, we need Jermaine Johnson. Then you're like, kick rocks. I don't need this. The other thing they could do prior to the draft is something that the Falcons did where they had, we were giving up John Abraham, and they didn't want to give up a first round pick that they had, the really far up first round pick. So they traded down back to the tail end of the first and then traded that pick to the New York Jets, and we used that to select Nick Mangold. So I could see a situation where the Jets don't, pick at 13 and we trade down. Maybe we're back at 28, 30, something like that. And we're like, okay, Green Bay, here's your first round pick this year. We've accumulated an extra second round pick, an extra third round pick, and now we are totally fine with giving you a first round pick because we have those extra assets. Green Bean, any thoughts on anything that Matt and I have just kind of said over this last little stretch here?
Well, I think you nailed it. As far as, do we want to pivot? No. Right? Of course not. We let Carr go. Jimmy G's gone. Everybody that was kind of arguable is gone. We don't want Stafford, right? He was injured and he's clearly declining. I mean, he had that last gasp, that last kind of great moment. It's probably it for him, right? Most likely. While he would still be clearly better than
well, so real quick, Stafford, his contract traded post June 1st is $1.5 million this year and $31 million next year. So it's still a 2-year deal. Less, and there's no dead cap associated with either him or Cousins. Cousins would be 1 year, $30 million. Stafford is 2 years, 1.5, and then 31. So that's kind of where the money side of that is.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at Stafford,
health-wise,
what he's able to. Yeah, right, health-wise.
Yeah, agreed.
Look, you can, and then like you said, there's Cousins, there's there's Lamar Jackson, all that kind of stuff. Look, the truth is we could just sit at 13 and take, if there's a quarterback that falls. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Are any of them optimal? No. But it just so happens that the guy that we're going for and the offensive coordinator that we have and the wide receiver we just grabbed all worked together for years to very, very high level success. And if this is a situation to push, we can push it. We can. And Joe Douglas, he walks quietly, carries a big stick, right? And we know he hasn't caved yet. Maybe he will. He hasn't done it. And the difference between aggressive and reckless. And I just don't see right now. Like you said, it shifts throughout the offseason, but at the end of the day, who's going to cave? I mean, if Joe Douglas waits until September or whatever the hell it is, and they got to eat the fucking, it's all right. I wait till then. I mean, if he does, is it optimal? No, but he can. That's my point, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost like hey, the Jets had shit quarterback play all last year. Rodgers on no training camp is going to be better than everything we got out of our quarterback the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Yeah. Like if we had to wait that long, like I think it shoots you in the foot as far as like maybe a Super Bowl goes, but like, man, that would be a ballsy fucking move. You get him for next to nothing at that point. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't love waiting that long. I mean, and nor do I think it's going to have to go that long. I think you want something to happen by the draft. The thought of moving down and then trading that first round pick, I suppose that's on the table, but I don't know. I don't even think it's going to last that long. I'll say it like this. I don't think we'll be live for the NFL draft and also have to be worrying about an Aaron Rodgers trade. I think that'll be well wrapped up in advance.
Ooh, so you think it happens before the draft? Is that what you're getting at, Matt?
Yeah, I think it could happen this week. Jerry Wingo was saying that it could go into this week. I don't see it going well into April. I think it happens soon.
Ooh, Green Bean. When do you think a trade does happen?
Right, I just told you guys.
Look, for me, I'm thinking there's like, if it's coming up to the draft, if it's going to happen by the draft, the Jets are going to get a much better deal because the Packers are scrambling and they want the pick now. That's what that tells me. They have 10 draft picks this year, though. I don't necessarily think they necessarily want the pick right now this year. I can see them saying, hey, look, let's get a first round pick, a 5-year controllable asset, as opposed to getting a 4-year controllable asset and selling lower in a year we have a bunch of picks. Not to mention, if I'm the NFL and I'm Roger Goodell and they're like about to finish this trade, I'm telling them, you guys shut your mouth. Packers, Jets, Rodgers, don't say anything. We've got May, June, July, dead periods for the NFL right now. Let's draw this out till training camp. Jets, you'll get Rodgers by the start of your training camp. Don't worry. No harm, no foul. Packers, you're going to get whatever the trade value that was agreed upon is going to happen, unless a trade obviously gets agreed upon before the draft. And guess what, Jets? You're winding up on Hard Knocks, and we're having Roscoe Diner Part 2 with Aaron Rodgers and like the New York Jets brass, the Packers brass. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be like all squirrely. That's my tinfoil hat lined, airplane hat. I think it happens after the draft if the Packers want to extract some value from it. If it happens before, it's the Jets getting the value.
Yeah, there's
That's
an
way
interesting.
too thin.
Well, I saw a comment in here from Bonnie. He said, "Well, could Rodgers feel slighted by us for not willing to like if let's say it drags on for a month, and could Rodgers be like, well, do what? You don't want to give up anything for me? Screw you guys. I'm going to retire. Do you think he could feel?"
Did you see the Rodgers comment with John Kuhn at all, where he said it's not worth a first round pick?
He said that?
Rodgers was talking to John Kuhn, and I'm pretty sure they had a discussion about it. Not like Rodgers does not think a first round pick is what it's gonna take to get it done. He thinks it's gonna be less than that.
Really? Because he's like, because I ain't playing next year anyway.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm pretty sure it was John Kuhn.
Yeah. John Post, Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports in the chat says the NFL would want this done before the schedule release. You think? Oh, no. I bet you're right. Now that's May 23rd, right? Isn't that what it is? So
we say that, but I think all money is going to be on this trade will eventually get done. I think they will schedule it knowing that or assuming the trade will get done because it just makes sense across every plateau. I don't think it has to get done by the schedule release for them to give us the primetime games and all the, the hoopla that goes with it.
Can you imagine? Then it's like, well, we gave 8 primetime games to Zach. Imagine.
Oh no.
Terrible. Everybody's like, the whole league's like, he's bad. He's bad.
Let's see. I'm trying to find the exact quote, but I saw it like tagged in something the other day. Oh, you know what? Maybe he wasn't talking with Aaron Rodgers. I thought he was talking with Aaron Rodgers.
I don't
know if I'm going to find it. Chat, if you
I
see
didn't
it,
see
let
that
me.
one either.
Yeah, chat. Let me know if you do know what I'm talking about there. John Kuhn was talking something about the Aaron Rodgers trade. I just think if it happens before the draft, the Jets get the benefit. If it happens after the draft, the Packers probably get the benefit. Justin Thomas comes in with a super chat. He says, I'm so tired of Packers fans on Twitter. It's ridiculous what they think they can get for Rodgers. Can't wait to see their faces when they get 2/3. I think it's going to cost more than that. I really do. We've been saying on this channel for a while, second round pick and a conditional pick next year. Makes the most sense across all boards. What do you think, Matt?
100%. Second rounder this year, conditional pick. Next year, conditional pick moves based on how far they go. If he's on the roster next year, whatever it is that you decide you want to do. I would be very surprised if 13's in the deal.
What do you think, Green Bean? You think 2/3 gets it done?
Yeah. You know what? You know how you guys know I've said 13 the entire time, right? Like I've never wavered until right now. I'm starting to think that too much has been made of it. That Joe Douglas is going to now 13's not on the table. Like we had an agreement. It was 13 or whatever. And now you want 13 in next year's first. Screw you. Now 13's off. You're going to take a third. This is the first time I'm starting to think 13 isn't going to be what it takes. So I don't know, man. I'm starting to go the other way. Oddly.
Oh, dude, there's no way I would give up number 13, especially like knowing we can wait. Like now that Aaron Rodgers has already said he wants to come here, it's like that's where the leverage is. Because I don't know if you guys know what happens to the Packers if they decide to hold on to Aaron Rodgers. Because that's another popular thing I've been hearing is like, oh, Packers don't have to trade Aaron Rodgers. Oh, yeah, they don't have to. But if they don't trade Aaron Rodgers, they cannot have Jordan Love beyond these 2 years. They're going to end up in 2025 with a $100 million dead cap hit. That's the year that Jordan Love's big contract would have to start kicking in. So, like, are you going to take a $100 million dead cap hit to have Aaron Rodgers as QB2 just to spite the fucking Jets? Not happening, dude.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt's like, yes, absolutely.
Anytime you can, you got to do it. Big spike.
Dude, I'm like, I was going at it with Packers fans. I'm a big fan of like the Packers fans that have joined the channel and like just kind of been following along. But like, there's some that are like, oh no, 2 first. Like, give it up. You look at the reactions you guys had. Like, this is why you got to give up the 2 first. My reaction is not why the Jets have to give up 2 first-round picks, like at all. Nor would I endorse that in any capacity. Now, you want to say it's a 2024 first, where right now I wouldn't even offer a fully fledged first. That's totally fine. That's after June 1st and all that good stuff. But yeah, I agree. NY Jets 24 celebrates 18 months of membership. Says, I read today that Cimini posted that Green Bay wants Jermaine Johnson in the deal for Rodgers. There's no way that Douglas makes that trade for Johnson. Cimini starting rumors. Yeah, I think that came up from a Packers podcast or something like that. I think it's like Turn On Packers, I think was where that was brought up. And there's no way I'm trading Jermaine Johnson. Are you serious? An edge rusher that's on a cheap rookie contract, and I don't want to give up a first-round pick anyway? Yeah, kick rocks, dude. Wait till after the draft. You can take whatever draft picks I want to give you after that. I'm not giving you any players. I would rather throw in more picks than give up a player that we traded back into the first round to get. Like, that's just not happening. Matt, what do you think about the Jermaine Johnson stuff?
No, there's no shot. No, come on. We got to get serious here. No one from the draft class of last year is going in the deal for Aaron Rodgers. It's silly season. We're getting into silly season right now.
Green Bean, any more thoughts on the Jermaine Johnson stuff that you brought up?
Yeah, I think I like the term silly season. I like that. That's good. I know, but I agree, man. Like, do we not remember? It's not just a first round pick on Jermaine Johnson. Number one, there's more picks associated with it. I think we throw a fifth and we swap of third. So more value that way. But Joe Douglas put in like 2 solid hours of work calling every friggin' GM in the league to try to get up there to get him. He finally gets him. He's going to give him to Green Bay? No, I don't see it.
Yeah, that one, as soon as I saw that, I just went, close. Close the app. Not listening to that. Marty drops him a super chat. Marty says, Aussie Jets in the house. Good day, mofos. Caught me off guard. Good day, mofos. We're going to be so screwed if Aaron Rodgers' deal falls through. What's your plan B? Your thoughts? It's not going to fall through because I've heard so many Packers fans tell me, well, what if another team gets involved? Well, guess what? Any other team could get involved if they want to trade for a quarterback that doesn't want to be on their team. If Aaron Rodgers says, hey, I want to play for this other team too, work out a trade, I just don't want to be here. Yeah, now the Jets lose all leverage and now we have to offer whatever. But unless Rodgers says he wants to play for another team, no other team is going to come into this conversation. It's almost like the Lamar Jackson kind of conversation as well. Green Bean, your thoughts on... I was going to say, good day, mate, on Marty's comment here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think to some extent, like what he's saying, that they will be screwed if the deal falls through. Look, you cannot be as gung-ho happy about it on one hand and then be like, if it doesn't, right? If they don't fit, it's bullshit. You know, that you're playing with yourself and you're lying to yourself. I think he's right. It's definitely a huge negative, man. We're trying to do something. We're trying to pull together a season where we can capitalize on the kind of the accelerated progress of a lot of the young guys that we brought in. To while they're cheap, okay, at least I was hoping to not have to pay a quarterback during this time. He sucks, at least right now. And but at least I have my wide receivers, my running backs, my linemen. They're all cheap today. So I got to do something now. That said, all we have to do is get average quarterback play, and we're a playoff team. You know what I mean? Like I believe that, unless the bottom falls out, right? I mean, we saw it last year, man. You know, our defense was holding teams to 7 points or less all over the place. We were losing games by a field goal, by 6 points, by 7 points, up and down the season, man. So I think if we have average quarterback play, we can do that. The problem is even the average quarterbacks are pretty much gone. So like if we resort to a Wentz or something like that, it's still going to be better and we might be a winning team. But I think optimally, dude, we're trying to get this done. But like Ryan said earlier, like the truth is we don't have to do it right now. We have plenty of time.
Yeah, the whole part, like what's your plan B is like, I keep hearing that question and I'm fine with answering that. But at the same time, like I'm so confident this is going to get done. I don't need to have a plan B. Like if I had to put money on it and I had $100, I'd put all $100 down that Rodgers will be the Jets quarterback week 1. There's like not even I wouldn't even hedge the bet. It would just be, that's what I'm betting. Matt, your thoughts on plan B and the Jets possibly being screwed if we miss Rodgers?
What's the Packers plan B? That'd be my answer. What's there's no one else willing to dance. The Raiders signed Jimmy G. Titans already, said they are running it back with Ryan Tannehill. Like, who is this mystery team? The Panthers traded up from the number 1 pick. It's over. That's it. It's the Jets are retire, and he wants to continue to play. So figure it out.
Yeah, there's no part of me like, and are they going to allow Aaron Rodgers in the facility? God forbid he rolls his ankle or gets hurt. They're on the hook for all that money. So, like training camp, as much as it's a panic for us, hey, guess what? Aaron Rodgers, you want to host a wide receiver camp and you want to get with our guys at a non-team facility? Oh, hey, Packers, guess what? Your quarterback is now training with our guys and you're on the hook if he gets hurt. Do you want that? You better not. You better trade him before that happens because guess what? It's going to. It's going to happen. Not the injury, but the working out.
Yeah, well, on that note, though, like, what do you think about this? Like, so we haven't seen any noise anywhere as far as quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers. That's at a standstill. Are we not planning to bring in a vet backup? Like, or are we just hoping, hey, Rodgers? He plays every – yeah, like, so Zach doesn't have to be number 2? Like, is that what – are we not doing that? Are we going to just put Zach at number 2? I would, it.
Yeah. No, I would, unless you have like I would go for someone like a CJ Beathard or something like that. I know he's signed, but like someone like a Brian Hoyer or something along those lines, that level quarterback. Yeah. If you want to bring him in and list him as like QB3 or something like that, or I mean, you could list him as QB2, but I would be going into the season, whether we had gotten Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, and I would be saying, hey, look, we're planning to play Rodgers or Carr the entire season. They've all Rodgers has missed barely any games in the last 8 years, none in the last 5. So I trust him to stay healthy at the very least. I would feel confident not having to invest $7 to $10 million in a backup quarterback, knowing Rodgers is going to be there. Because if Rodgers winds up going down and is getting out, like, I don't know if that backup vet is enough to like get us past. Like, I feel like we're going to rely on our running backs and everything so much anyway. I
don't know.
How do you feel
like
about that, Matt? The backup quarterback thing?
Oh yeah, just like kind of like what you were saying, like a very cheap bottom of the well kind of option. I don't think it's going to be anything super flashy. Not Joe Flacco though. It can't be. It can't be super, cool Joe. He's got to retire right off into the sunset. But yeah, I don't even have a name like jumping out, but just a cheap veteran backup.
Brian drops in and says, draft day, pick 13 comes up and the logo changes to Green Bay. Are you more pumped if it's a done deal or bummed that we lost the 13 pick? If Green Bay, well, I look, because I'm curious to see if the jump would be from 15 to 13 and the Jets fall back to 15, because you will see that on the ticker. You'll be able to tell who's who at that point. If I see the Jets drop down 2 picks, I'm going to be real excited because we still have a first round pick, and that probably means we have Aaron Rodgers. Now, with the Jets on the 13 pick, I'm hoping we make the selection. I don't want to trade out of it. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pumped that if it got that far and 13 turns into the Packers logo, then yeah, absolutely. And it's like, okay, we know that it's done and that it is what it is. If you get to that point, again, I'm not going to be crying if I gave up pick 13. I just personally don't think that's what it's going to take. You know, it is what it is kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Green Bay, what about you? How would you feel if pick 13 changed from Jets to Green Bay while we were on the clock?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Brian, hey Brian, it's good to see you, buddy. I think I think what he means, right, is like, not that we swapped, right? So I was just saying if we get if we go into this and we don't have Aaron Rodgers, pick 13 comes up, Green Bay comes up, and we find out that it's Aaron Rodgers. Of course, we're going to have done all this research and all this crazy shit and predictions and everything, and it's going to be a bummer on that level, but I would be relieved. I'd be fine.
Justin Thomas comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Justin. He says, it's good for us to trade him in 2024. We have 9 picks. We gained 2 6th-rounders from the Rankins and Shepard losses, plus the 4th in the Martin trade. Also, whatever we get from losing Connor McGovern. So he's talking about the New York Jets in 2024. Yeah, I would like to get the 2024 picks, honestly. I have no problem giving up a 2024 first, because the picks that I'm trying to utilize for Rodgers, assuming he's going to be here for 2 years, it's going to be, hey, this year might not get a full, productive season out of our rookies. I don't think we're going to plan on having the same kind of draft class as last year. But in 2024, if that's the final year of Rodgers, I'm less likely to have players that are going to be able to immediately contribute for a Super Bowl that final year of his contract. So I'm more so okay passing on those picks. But yeah, and especially with the compensation picks, if you wind up sitting and letting players go and they're signing away, I think I'm pretty sure the Rankins deal and the Lazard deals cancel each other out. So that won't matter. But if McGovern signs, that could be compensation picks. Green Bean, how do you feel about the compensation pick formula and maybe waiting till a 2024 draft pick?
Yeah, the thing is with comp picks is that, number one, people always say that all the time. Well, let this guy go. We'll get to this. And I've made a career out of saying, reminding people that's not the case. Like, number one, you have to wait, like you said. So we're talking 2025-ish kind of a thing. Or closest next year, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's you have to remember, like, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and there's a reason why picks this year, like a second this year, is valued as a third next year. So if we're talking about a 4th next year, that's a 5th or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? Or 3rd, whatever. So it's like you have to just remember that kind of conversion rate and all that stuff. And you're getting into weird waters. Like, it's always better to have things cut and dry and know what the value is that you're either paying or receiving. Because look, even in trades, we've seen it with the Revis trade. We saw it with the John Vilma trade. We go, okay, we're trading them for a 1st and a 3rd that could be a 4th if this and this and this and this. And then guess what? This and this and this and this happens, and it's a fourth. Or same thing with Leo Williams. We traded Leo Williams for a third and a fourth. We got a third and a fifth because they left him out there until the day came where it was a fifth. Then they signed him that day. There's always things that can happen. So you just, again, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So whatever you can get now, you take it. And comp picks and all that kind of jazz, they're never guaranteed. And the NFL formula is not exactly in stone. So it could be a fourth, it could be a fifth, it could be a seventh. And they just go, no, it's a seventh. And you go, okay, well, what are you going to do? Argue the comp pick? No, they say they've awarded you a seventh. That's what you get. So that kind of stuff can be weird too.
Matt, how are you feeling about like the compensation pick stuff and possibly going for a 2024 pick instead?
Yeah, I mean that stuff's sometimes a little over my head with the math and what goes into figuring out when you're getting the comp picks at what point. I do kind of get where you guys are coming from, or just the general thought that you'd rather give up the picks in 24 than this year in 23 because you want as much ammo to go in with Rodgers as possible. And that's why, like, whenever I do a mock or I see a mock, I think you got to go for like these safe guys who can have immediate impacts and not necessarily the big swings who might be more developmental. But yeah, I mean, if the 2024 conditional pick ends up becoming a first round pick, then that's probably a good sign because that means the Jets probably went pretty far in the playoffs. So I'd sign up for that.
Good problem to have. Boys and girls, I completely forgot, but I will be doing a members only 10 o'clock mock at the end of this. It's going to start 10:30. So if you are a member of the channel, we're going to do an Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets mock draft. And we're going to, go pick by pick. We'll determine, what we're giving up for him, and then we'll figure out how we're going to draft throughout the night. So if you want to do that, you can click the little blue join button down below, and you can get in on that action. Blitzcrew. I have one real quick I want to get to, Michael Gonzalez, and then I'll hop back up to Blitzcrews. Michael drops in, says, Matt, Ryan, and Greenbean, thank you, and God bless for being so awesome and hosting your podcast. Wow, Michael, thank you so much. I didn't know that's what that was going to be, but thank you very much. All right, Blitzcrew hops in. What's up, Blitzcrew? He says, Packers fans are like someone trying to get sticker price on a used car that will only get a year or two out of service. Yeah, I think part of it is not looking embarrassed when you trade away a Hall of Fame quarterback, because you saw what Russell Wilson got traded for, you saw what Deshaun Watson got traded for, and the production of those two guys, and you're kind of sitting back thinking like, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a much better season than both those guys. And we're going to get what? We're going to get a second round pick and a conditional pick next year? That's crazy. Looney Tunes, if you will. Matt, you think this is like trying to buy a used car?
I think they're trying to save face, like kind of what you were saying. Like they see some of these other deals, but they're not exactly comparable situations because of these guys' ages and the contracts. People always bring up, well, Denver was willing to give the sun, the moon, and the stars. Well, guess what? He wasn't on this current contract, and he was also a year younger. That was before the contract, so that makes a big difference in this because whoever acquires him is going to have to pay him that money. I know it doesn't affect the cap space, but still.
Sorry. that was from Marty Thompson. I saw Dylan Grace come in here, but I didn't see the little thing come up. So, guys, drop some JETS in the chat for Marty and Dylan joining the channel, boys and girls. Oh, look at Sergeant CVO spelling leverage with the emojis. I love it.
Oh my God.
So good. So good. All right, sorry about that, Matt. But I think I interrupted you with my JETS. No, I don't know if you remember where you're at.
That was pretty much done. I was just kind of. Actually, I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, we'll say I was done.
All right, cool. Karthikia comes in, says, let's get Cam Newton. LOL, just kidding. Yeah, he's throwing at Auburn's pro day. I don't know who Auburn's quarterback is. Is that why Cam Newton's throwing, or is he trying to prove that he can still play in the NFL? Matt, do you know anything about the pro day stuff with Cam?
He's trying to play. He's saying I'm better than he goes
32 other.
Yeah.
Or I'm not the third. I'm better than at least some of these 32 quarterbacks.
I mean, I don't buy it, but good for Cam if he wants to try to prove it.
I would say skill-wise, he's probably not wrong. He's probably a top 32 quarterback. The issue winds up being is the hope of some of these other guys are outweighing the cost factor for Cam Newton and what you could get out of him. I think that's where he loses me. Creamy, what do you think about the whole Cam Newton thing trying out at Auburn?
Yeah, well, he's throwing to his little brother. I saw that's nice, right? So
Oh, really? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. So you know, I mean, Cam, I was saying Cam sucked 2 years ago. So,
And he did.
Yeah,
When he was on the Patriots? Yeah, me too.
I'd be remiss to say otherwise now. Now, is he better than what we've been seeing since 2015? Yes. But still, I don't know. I mean, as a backup, sure. Like Matt used the word, cheap backup earlier. If that, I think we should have a vet backup. I don't think Zach should be number 2. I just don't. I think it's a foolhardy exercise in fate, tempting fate, and I don't like it.
I think if we wind up going with the vet quarterback, I could see a 2-year contract or even a 3-year contract where he is that person's backup, or at least spreading the cap hit out a little bit more. I don't know if we're going to pay the price for a legit backup this year, because Zach's still $10 million against the cap. That's a lot of money for a guy we plan on not having play a snap.
I know it really is problematic. It is. It's a stick in the spokes.
Randy comes in. Randy says, "Good day, guys. Shout out to my guy, Green Bean." So, Randy, Green Bean, say hi to Randy.
Randy Hamilton. He's the best. He's the best.
He's a good guy.
He is. I've been saying it all week, Randy.
I love it. Sorry, God, I keep getting something in my eye. Andrew Yale hops in, says, thoughts about remaining free agents and to fill needs, center and defensive tackle. So I think the popular picks for most people, center Ben Jones and defensive tackle 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐞𝐽. Matt, any other names that are kind of out there that you're sort of looking at?
Those are 2 phenomenal ones. Another defensive tackle, maybe Matt Ioannidis. He was with the Panthers last year, I believe. That is definitely someone that I'd like to keep an eye on. Ben Jones just makes a ton of sense because of the Downing relationship that they had in Tennessee. But Campbell's probably my favorite defensive tackle still on the market. But if I had to give you another one, I'd go Ioannidis.
Green Bean, what about you? Any free agents out there that you're kind of eyeballing? Was Ben Jones cut too? Yeah. Was that a...
Yep. Yep.
So 2 guys that would not count against the comp pick formula.
That's right. That's right. I was going to say that. But he's one. I like Calais Campbell. I don't know if he got signed. I've been out of the loop today, and a day can be a year in free agency language. So I don't know. But it's funny, just so you know what I'm doing over here. I'm over here comparing Brett Favre's stats to I'm trying to see where they were. Do you guys remember what we traded for Brett Favre? They could still be pissed about this, the Packers. That might
the 4th round pick.
Yeah. We gave them a conditional 4th that ended up being a 3rd because he played more than 50% of the snaps. That's it. So I'm sure we're looking at that, and they probably feel like, look, we know we got had by this exact same organization, so we're not doing it again. But the idea that they're going to get 2 firsts when they had very, very similar careers, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just interesting. That's what I'm kind of bugging out on over here. But I don't know. I think we got to get a center. I'd love to get a defensive tackle. Depending on what we plan to do with Whitehead, I don't know. We let the guy from the Eagles,
Gardner.
Right. Yep. So we let him go, which either means we didn't like him or we really like Whitehead going into his 2nd year, maybe. And I don't know. I mean, Whitehead and Clark seems somewhat redundant to me. But who knows? Who knows? But I'd like to see some of that. But I knew this year was going to be a bit different as far as what we see in free agency. We have no money. And we're locking up a fucking $500 million quarterback. So it's it's tough. It's tough. But I still think we should try to get that center position fixed. The 2 offensive linemen that we brought in, make no mistake, guys. Somebody said to me, he can, the center from he's good enough to start. No, he's not. He might come in and play hard for you, but he's been the guy on the bottom end of the the Ravens since 2020. He's the guy when they need a roster spot, they cut. He's that last guy on the roster guy. Now, they keep him, so there's that. But he's been a practice squad guy for most of his career. He played a bunch of games. But anyway, I'd like to see us get a center before the draft.
Yeah, you mentioned safety and, not going after, the Eagles safety. seeing what it wound up going for, I was like, oh man, he signed for like $8 million, and if we cut Whitehead, that's 7.25. Yeah, Andrew, yeah.
I know. Maybe he didn't
Becoming
want to come
a member
here.
of the channel. Well, what I'm saying is, for me, I get like wow, we could have swapped Whitehead out for that, but my opinion is the Chuck Clark stuff, like bringing him in and not having a trigger date on Whitehead's money, that tells me the Jets are looking towards the draft. They're playing money ball with the safety position, and if that rookie beats out Whitehead in camp, I think Whitehead winds up getting cut, and you have a really cheap tandem of safeties as opposed to paying an $8 million for Gardner Johnson or whatever the heck his name is. To me, I don't think the Jets want to spend money at safety. They got Whitehead last year. I don't know what his base salary was or what his signing bonus was at the time, but it feels like they wanted to give themselves the option to get out of his deal this year. Matt, your thoughts on the safety and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I was a little not like mad, but I was a little like I would have probably preferred Gardner Johnson at the money that he got than Whitehead, and you just cut him
Agreed.
and free up 725, and then what's it's $1 million difference, something like that. I would have said, you know what, I'd rather do that, but I hear you. It gives you some flexibility. I think it was Green Bean who said it a little while ago, though. They are very redundant. I think both those guys are better at strong safety. Yes, Clark could play free safety. He's done a little bit of both, but I think he's more of a strong safety. They need another ball hawk. But yeah, maybe like I think Taylor Rapp is still available at this point, or oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Rodney McLeod from he was with the Eagles forever and with the Colts last year also.
Interesting. Blitzkrieg Hobson says, "What about Cam Newton as a backup?"
No,
I don't want Cam Newton. I don't want him at all. It would be
He's
such
good.
a weird.
I've always
it would
liked
just be
him.
such a weird like play style after Aaron Rodgers. Like I want someone that mimics what Aaron Rodgers can kind of do, and I don't know if that's like. I don't know if you could find that style of quarterback as a free agent. That feels maybe a little far fetched. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would Cam Newton make sense?
Ryan,
Green Bean as a backup?
Well, not particularly. It would be better than what we had. I would feel better with him as a number two. Not as a number one, no way. But as a backup, yeah. I would feel better than going in with Zach. But years ago, the clubs used to use the third quarterback as an opportunity to get like a different style. Like the backup quarterbacks a lot of the time was like
Malik Cunningham.
You would have this
just
pocket passer,
wild card,
right? And
undrafted free agent.
Yeah. Well, you'd have this pocket passer, and then he goes hurt, and this running athletic kid comes in. It was like totally different. And then over the years, you realize, just like you said, it's like, no. You want somebody that can come in with the least alterations possible. He can fit the exact same shoes. You know what I mean? That's what you want. And going from Rodgers to Cam Newton is not that. So I think it'd be a problem too.
Red John jumps in, celebrates 1 month of membership. Thank you, Red John. Says the Jets might be lowballing. I think the Jets are offering a third and a conditional just to come back down and offer a second plus conditional 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐲. Yeah, that could be what's happening right now. Like maybe they're saying, hey, look, we're going to try and get him for a third plus the Favre deal, next year as far as conditions go. I think that's definitely lowballing the Packers. I think if you can end up at that spot where it's the second this year and a conditional next year, I think that's satisfies most people's trade aspirations. It's not the first round pick that the Packers want, but hey, sorry, you're not getting 13. It's not happening. It doesn't make any sense. Matt, you think the Jets are currently lowballing the Packers?
I don't know if lowballing is the right word for it. I mean, Joe Douglas is very savvy when it comes to trade. So I don't think he is offering them that first round pick right now. Maybe he'll have to budge a little bit, but I think he's he's doing his negotiator Joe move right now. It might take him a little bit, but in a couple of days, I'm sure they'll have something ironed out.
Marty drops in with another super chat. Thank you, Marty. He says it's a perfect scenario for Zach to be the student for 2 years under the best quarterback. If he doesn't prevail, then Zach will never play the NFL ever again. Your thoughts? I would say he's the number 2 overall pick, and there's going to be a coach out there, even after the Jets flub this up, if that's what ultimately ends up happening. Someone's going to take a stab on him. There's going to be that Matt Rule that wants Sam Darnold, or Kyle Shanahan that wants Sam Darnold. So they're always going to get a chance. Whether or not that's going to be the starting quarterback chance. I mean, heck, Baker Mayfield bounced from, the Browns to the Panthers to the Rams to the, I think, is he on the Bucs now? Is that where he ended up landing? So yeah, he's bouncing around like crazy, which oddly enough, I think he wound up on the Bucs because the Jets traded up to number 3 that year, expecting to get him, and were surprised when Baker wound up going 1 and Darnold fell. So I feel like there was a little bit of love between him and Bowles. Green, or I guess Matt, what are your thoughts in terms of Zach sitting behind Rodgers for 2 years? Will he ever play in the NFL after that?
I mean, it's definitely a long shot for Zach to turn this around. But like I've always said, if there was ever that unique opportunity where he could do it, it would be by sitting behind a guy that he idolizes and a guy that is going to the Hall of Fame in Aaron Rodgers. Like if it was, well, you think you're going to sit behind Mike White. I don't know if that necessarily has the same impact. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that he's, saved, but if there was ever a chance, I would think maybe it's Rodgers.
Edward Ziff celebrates 21 months of membership. Says trade back from 13 and then give Green Bay some assets. I think it depends on who falls to 13 and where you have them ranked on your board. If you only have, let's say Paris Johnson Jr. and Broderick Jones as the top 2 tackles because you think Skoronski's going to be a guard at the next level, then yeah, see what you can get in a trade down. I don't think you should make a pick at 13 just because you feel like you need to make the pick. Or maybe there's a situation where like you're now on the clock, all the players you liked were gone. There is no trade back option. Now you call up the Packers and you say, hey, you want the first round pick? You're getting the first round pick and that's it? Or we're going to take our next best option. You guys can wait till after the draft. And I think maybe that's a conversation you could have potentially. I don't know, Green Bean, where do you fall on the trading down side of things and giving Green Bay those assets?
Well, you brought up the John Abraham thing, which by the way was a really interesting article put out by Jet Nation this past week. We were we're the ones that I guess you could say we got the shit end of that stick, but it made things work and it made it happen. So just on that level too, it can be interesting, right? Like, okay, well, if we traded down to 26, got a second, then a third, then is 26 willing to give up, or do we give them those extra picks? Yeah, because it's all additional. It's clearly. Yeah.
Gene, welcome to the channel. Sorry.
Gene Rowland, baby. So, you have to think, obviously 26 is less valuable than 13, and then you got the second and whatever the hell else you get. So it's all very, very interesting. But let's just say that just in general, I'm a big fan of trading down from 13 and getting that extra second and then landing in a spot, 24, where you're okay taking John Michael Schmitz, who is my fave in this class. Love him. I want him. I want to come out of here. And I wouldn't even be upset if they went John Michael Schmitz, Steve Avila in the second, who's got guard center. I would love it. Just fucking bring these big bodies in. But anyway, I really think trading back and getting those additional assets so you can kind of loosen you up to do a few things. I'm a big fan of that, and I'd like to see the Jets do it, particularly if maybe their number 1 or top 2 tackles are off the board. Jalen Carter's looking like he's having a tough week. You know what I mean? So I loved him. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I think the whole trading back thing is very interesting this year, in particular for myriad reasons.
Matt, how are you feeling about possibly trading back from 13 and then giving up some assets? Not necessarily the first. It doesn't seem like Edwards necessarily talking specifically about the first, just giving up assets from that trade down.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So you're saying move back and then give up whatever pick you get from moving back in the trade, like the John Abraham thing?
It might. I mean, it might be like trading down from 13. Let's say you get pick 26. I don't know who's there, but let's say you get pick 26. You're either sending pick 26 to the Packers, or you're maybe shifting more picks over to the Packers because you still don't want to give up a first, but something like that. You use the assets that you've acquired in that trade down in some capacity to facilitate the Rodgers trade.
Yeah, I mean, sure. At that point, absolutely. I don't think it's. I don't think that would preclude me from like making that move. Where it's like, oh, you need all these draft picks. They've had a ton of picks over the last few years. If there was ever a time where you could afford to move off some picks for an established player, it's now. And if that's the way that you want to salvage it by moving back and gaining more picks, and then you still have to give up, whatever it is for Rodgers, then okay, I'm good with that too.
Duncan drops in, celebrates a month of membership. Thank you, Duncan. He says, I like the idea of a 2025 conditional pick based on Rodgers' 2024 snap count. If he retires, or if he instead retires prior to 2024, then no pick. Yeah, I agree. I like that too. As far as how you get to the 2024 picks, you're probably going to have to wait till after the draft at that point. I don't know if you're going to get away with doing a conditional 2025 pick now, and like let's say it's a 2023 second round pick and a 2025 conditional pick. I don't think that's going to fly. I think it would have to be after the draft for those 2 years to specifically be hit. Blitz Crew drops in and he's got a compliment for Matt. He says Matt had a solid free agent video drop earlier today. Matt, why don't you walk us through some of, not all, I don't want you to give any like big secrets away, but maybe walk us through a little bit of it and then people can go over and watch that video.
Yeah, so what I was interested in, I kind of wanted to take a look at what free agents are left on the board and some that you could target. And the ones we've talked about tonight, like, for example, Ben Jones and Calais Campbell both are in there. But I take a look at about four positions where the Jets could still look. And there's stuff there. It's not, obviously, at this point, it's not going to be, these major, contracts, but there's some pretty solid depth still available. So that was basically the concept. I think we talked about 7 guys.
Nice. Yeah, you guys got to check out that video. I got a question for you guys. This is maybe an interesting one outside. I say outside the box, but I don't know if it necessarily is. The Bucks brought in Leonard Fournette after Leonard Fournette was cut by the Jaguars. Zeke Elliott was just cut. The Cowboys are paying him a butt ton of money. If you can get him at the vet minimum contract because Dallas is paying him that money, how do you guys feel about Zeke maybe as running back 3 in the event that Breece Hall is not ready to start the season? Matt, I'll throw it to you first, then we'll go to Green Bean.
I think he's pretty cooked, man. He has a ton of miles. I know he's still relatively young. Like, I think what is he, 28 now, maybe?
Yeah.
He's definitely under 30, but I think he's got the Todd Gurley treatment. Gurley was pretty much done by 28 because of how much he was run early on in his career. I think it's unfortunately the same thing for Zeke. I loved him early on in his career. I thought he was fantastic. One of the best backs in the league, but I think it's over.
Green Bean, how you feel about possibly being able to get Zeke for the vet minimum as running back 3 because he's getting paid by the Cowboys already?
Well, Matt said he doesn't like the idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand it. I feel like I would not sign Zeke at all to like a normal free agent contract where it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you $4 million a year. It's like, no, I don't want to pay him that much money. Like, we have value in the running back room right now. I'm specifically talking about vet minimum, like running back 3, and that's it. Yeah. But you're talking goal line, like this dude's going to be a bully for 3 yards.
Right. Matt said it. I mean, he's clearly not the Zeke that was able to hold the Cowboys hostage for an entire summer. That's not who we're looking at. But like, now, do we know, did he win the offset language battle? Like, is he getting paid from Dallas no matter what? Or
I think if you get cut with guaranteed money, they have to pay you that. I'm almost positive that's like a thing.
Yeah, if he's got guaranteed, yes, if he's got guaranteed money. I'm just wondering, I guess it wouldn't matter. I guess what I was pondering wouldn't matter with guaranteed money. So fucking scratch that. Scratch everything I said. I would say, just like you said, if he's willing, if he's like, hey, dude, I'm making this whatever million over here, I'm willing to come. I just want to play with Bam Bam Bigelow. All right. You want to come play
I
with
could
Bam
see him
Bam?
going to the Eagles probably before he comes to us because he might want to stick it to Dallas, and they're a Super Bowl caliber team. That's where I would probably go if I were him. Go the division rival route. Rich L drops in with a super chat. He says, should we be worried about Ben Jones concussions? Everyone's saying Dolphins need Tua to be healthy. but Jones had the same concussions last year. So yeah, it's a big issue. I think he failed his medicals. I think that's why he wound up getting cut. Thank you, Tigo, by the way. I did see that comment in there before. Look, Ben Jones for me is almost the same thing as Jordan Whitehead is to safety for me. I feel the Jets are going to wind up drafting a center, and they're going to use that guy, at some capacity, whether it's this year or in the future. But I think Ben Jones is more so a placeholder, so teams don't jump us knowing we're going to get a center. Because if you clearly have a gap at center, everyone's going to know you're telegraphing that pick. So I think that, to me, would be the move to make. As far as who I think it's going to be, John Michael Schmitz, we met with him at the Senior Bowl. We met with him at the Combine. We got a top 30 visit for him. Like, the Jets are meeting with him 3 times this offseason. We need a center. If you bring in Ben Jones, I 100% still think John Michael Schmitz is going to be the pick in the second round.
And the
Green Bean, your
starter.
thoughts?
I agree 100%. And let me say this. Not only did the Jets meet with John Michael Schmitz, we met with John Michael Schmitz when we were down at the Senior Bowl.
I'm in.
And the guy's a delight to be around, man. I mean, look, I liked most of the kids. There was only one kid who was like really a douchebag. He was mean to Dom C. Forget who it was. He was fucking mean.
Screw that
dude.
guy. I don't
Give me
care if he's a
names.
first round pick. That dude can go get the bus.
He really was. He was an asshole. But John Michael Schmitz was delightful. Dom C did a good job of like getting him to like lower his hair and like kind of, shoot the breeze a little bit. He's a good kid. But I mean, obviously above that, he's an absolute stud. He's the best, in my opinion, the best lineman in this class, not just positionally. And I think, just like you said, if you were to sign Ben Jones, he's that security. He's older. He's got concussion issues. There's some concerns, but he has the relationship with Keith Clark. He's a good football player. And if something happens, him coming in for 2 games is a much better bet than Cologne Castillo. You know what I mean? Coming off the practice squad. I'm ready, coach. It's better than that. So I'm in. I think sign Ben Jones, draft Schmitz, and then Avila in the second round. Do it. Let's go. Get the center done.
Here I saw someone in the chat. Where did I see it? Phil in the chat says, you don't think Schmitz is going to go in the first round. I think now that the Giants don't have a center, I think pick 25 is where you're slotting him in right now. Like, if you're going to trade down, you got to trade down, but be before the Giants. But I'm also cool with like 4 centers in the draft. It doesn't have to be him. Matt, your thoughts? It looks like you were pretty animated right there.
Yeah. I mean, we could do another Matt O'Leary plug if you guys don't mind. But
Go for it.
If in yesterday's mock draft Monday, we traded 43 plus for Rodgers, moved from 13 to 18 for 𝐒𝐭𝐭, and then packaged the second round pick we got from moving back plus something else to move back into the first round to get JMS. So we're killing both sides of the trenches in the first round. But I am all about John Michael Schmitz, even in round 1, if you had to, they traded up for AVT. If you have to trade up for John Michael Schmitz, do it.
Yeah, I feel like that 5-year valuable contract on your prospective starting center is really good. I feel like when you start talking about like after John Michael Schmitz, you're probably talking Weipler, Stromberg, Jarrett Patterson probably a lot later. There's the kid from Michigan that didn't necessarily have like a great Senior Bowl, but he could be an option. Lots of not a bad year to go after a center in the draft, I don't think. Greg C, aka gonna make you a kit. Gonna make you a kit. Is that what that is? Is that his name? Gonna make you a kit.
Gonna make you take it. Take it. I'm gonna make you take
gonna make you take it.
This guy's
I'm an
raping
idiot.
people out there.
We need license plates. We need
Guy's
the
mean.
chat. It's great. I love it.
What he means he's gonna make us take free cheeseburgers. That's what it is.
I hope so. I don't know.
Me too.
He's got a very, very interesting logo. It looks like bondage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not leading me to anything.
You're going to make me take it? That name has a whole different connotation now. Which wide receiver do you think will be the most improvement, or will have the most improvement and most yardage with Rodgers at quarterback? Do you think Davis would be worth keeping? No, to me, Davis, with his cap hit and his inability to stay on the field, for me is expendable. I think the most improvement we'll see is Elijah Moore. I think that's a safe bet for me. Outside of that, Denzel Mims, I'm excited about with Rodgers coming here and a new offensive scheme and things of that. I feel like With Hackett, I'm more excited for Mims, but with Rodgers, I'm more excited for Moore, if that makes sense. Matt, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm out on keeping Davis, by the way. I'm going to work backwards. I'm out on keeping Davis. If you cut him and free up the money. Obviously the ceiling, like Garrett's ceiling's the highest, but I think we see Elijah Moore really utilized well in the slot. I hear what you're saying with Mims. I do think there's a chance he rebounds, but I'm going to go Moore as most improved.
Yeah, Green Bean, where you feel on which wide receiver could be the most improved or have the most yards by adding Rodgers, and is Davis worth keeping?
I agree. I am most excited about Denzel Mims because I just want him to get a fair shake. Like if he sucked, like if he was like just fair shake and then it is what it is. We can move on. But I don't believe that's been the case. I just don't. It's looked weird from my angle from the word go with LaFleur, right? The word, I'm like, why? What? I don't understand. So I'm excited about him getting his fair shake, but I do believe that Elijah Moore is going to be the one that shreds the defense's wheat, in my opinion. I think if we get that kid going, dude, we were all so excited about him. He was a first round grade by most metrics. Most draft analysts had him going in the first. I wasn't even looking at him anymore because I knew we weren't going wide receiver in the first. And I said, he's not a guy we're going to end up getting. So I stopped looking at him. When we got him, I couldn't believe it. Not that I wanted to go wide receiver. It's a whole thing. But I think that he's got the potential to be a legitimate, high level, deadly wide receiver. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to see that right away. He's open all day long. Just get him the ball, and he's got that yak ability, man. So I think Elijah Moore is going to be the one that we see the biggest kind of breakout, for lack of a better word. But I'm also excited about Denzel. I think we're going to be studly, man. Studly.
Dude, what gets me excited is I know Elijah Moore wants the contract that his two buddies, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, got. So he's licking his chops with Aaron Rodgers coming here. He's primed to have an explosive season these next 2 years. And I reserve the right to change my opinion based on, how he performs and what his contract demands are. But I feel like he's a prime candidate to allow to walk after the Rodgers situation is all done and get that big money somewhere else. And we invest our money, probably in Garrett Wilson at that point. But then you wind up getting a monster. You'll get a third-round compensation pick if Elijah Moore winds up balling out. Or he's a tradable commodity, and you wind up going that route. That's cool, too. I like the idea of him balling out. Fly Guy 1 dropping in with a $10 super chat. Then we'll get to Ron, Chris, and Brian. Fly Guy comes in and says, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean, what's up, dudes? Listen, I trust Joe Douglas. Maybe he convinces the Packers to send over 15 with Rodgers. I'm saying I believe it's happening. No worries. I don't think we're going to get 15 plus Rodgers unless there's a lot of maneuvering in there. They get 13 and it's really a trade down from 13 to 15 and some other goofy stuff. To me, I feel like the cleanest, easiest way to do it is just, hey, look, here's our second, here's the conditional third, and if you really get backed against the wall, maybe that's the trade plus the swap of 13 and 15, because dropping down 2 picks, actually, you know what? I don't even want us to drop down 2 picks because I think you may lose one of the tackles at that point. That's a trade I may not make until draft day when I see who's on the board. Matt, any shot you see any swap of picks, let's say 13 and 15 in some capacity, because I'm not going to entertain 15 plus Rodgers. That feels like we're not going to see that at all.
No, I'm okay with the pick swap, and I would do that in advance. Even I'm not going to say oh, let's wait and play the game. I'm not about that. I think there's still someone you could grab at 15. Maybe you do lose both Broderick Jones and you lose the rest of them, but.
Well, I think the Packers are definitely taking a tackle. I think that's why they want 13 is because Bakhtiari is busting all his knees and taking the tackle now to protect the quarterback might not be a bad decision. And I think the Patriots sitting at 14 might take one as well. And if you think the Jets are taking one at 13 plus the Titans at 10, I think the Packers are trying to get to 13 because they know they're not getting a tackle.
They should take a weapon for their young quarterback. They shouldn't take another offensive lineman.
They're going to take a safety.
Interesting.
Michael Mayer.
Interesting.
That's how they do it.
Tight end. I do like that. That would be a good idea. That would be interesting. I don't like the wide receivers, especially with the wide receivers the Packers have right now. Like, yes, they lost Lazard, but like, I don't know if that guy's there. Like, I don't trust the TCU receiver. I still can't get my head around, Jackson Smith-Njigba. It's like, for whatever reason, I just can't find myself to like really buy into him. I think the speed bugs the heck out of me. Green Bean, any thought of swapping 13 and 15?
I love that. Like, I think that would be a real good way to kind of, look, like, we're offering you this, but let's do this too. You know what I mean? Like, it increases value. Teams trade, up 2, 3, 4 spots all the time, because there's value there. I think it would be a real good thing to add. I just feel like, look, at the beginning of Fly Guys, maybe the middle of his comment here, he says, I trust Joe D. I trust Joe D too. As much as like I vacillate because my own madness, right? I have my own crazy thoughts and all this shit. But Joe Douglas is cold. He's stern. He's cold. He's good at this. He's smart and he's patient. And I think that like at the end of the day, they might even be saying, okay, listen, and he might be going, no, I said what I'm willing to give you. You know what I mean? And, I think it's going to be real interesting to find out what it is. I would be delighted to find out that's all it is. All right, we just decided to flip. Fucking, wouldn't you be happy if all we did was move back? That'd be great.
Well, didn't we decide that was the value of a 3rd round pick or something along those lines?
Late third, I thought it was.
That's interesting, especially if you think I think there's definitely going to be 4 quarterbacks going before the Jets pick at 13. So you're talking about a top 9, top 10 non-quarterback player falling to you, and there's probably going to be a corner in there that you're not going to take anyway. So you're talking about a top 8 player on your board possibly. Like, I like that idea. That's a tough pick for me to want to swing for something else. We're going to jump over to these $10 super chats real quick. Then we'll drop down to the other ones there. Gene hops in and says, I've been a Wisconsin resident and a Packer fan for 60 plus years. The current lying, backstabbing Packers GM and president is now why I'm a Jets fan. How they've treated Aaron is classless. Go Jets. I have seen that from a lot of Packers fans. That's interesting that Gene says that. And it's almost the same sort of mindset that I think a lot of Patriot fans had when Tom left New England to go to Tampa Bay. They were more maybe a Brady fan more so, or maybe didn't like, I don't know, maybe his exit was not quite the same way as Rodgers. But I also understand Packers fans when they're like salty at Rodgers. They're like, dude, like, you just held us hostage and like, what the heck? You got money from us and now you want to go elsewhere. And like, I can understand where Packers fans are on both sides of this. But Matt, do you feel like, the Packers are doing Rodgers dirty right now, or where do you kind of stand on that sort of thing?
Yeah. Yes, they want to move on and now are apparently holding him hostage. Like, figure it out. Get him out. Didn't they say we want to do what's right by Rodgers too? Like, he wants. He said in front of 500,000 people that he wants to play for the Jets. Get it done. Figure it out, man.
Green Bean, how you feeling? You think the Packers GM and president is a backstabber, and you don't like how they treated
a piece
Rodgers?
Of shit. Yeah. I think. I mean, look how complimentary Rodgers was toward the organization. Toward the different staffs. He said, look, like, who brought me in? They're not even there, but he made sure to include everyone, and he was very, loving toward the fan base. Like, it could have been done beautifully. You know what I mean? It really could have. And he was saying, like, look, everybody thinks I'm holding it up. I made my intentions known on Friday. So this was on Wednesday. So we're talking, 4 or 5 days in between there, where he said the Packers are just kind of being weird. And again, like Matt just said, it's like, pick a lane, dude. Are you ready to move on, or are you kind of going to dance around and play games here? Look, now if the Jets are saying, hey, we're giving you a 6th, like, I get that too. We don't know what the Jets are really offering. You know what I mean? So I think I'll reserve full judgment, but I'm leaning toward what Gene Rowland said here. But I will say this, Gene. I find it difficult. I mean, look, you're 60. You've been, you've had 2 consecutive Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You've had lots and lots of winning, some Super Bowls, all kinds of fun shit. So maybe that helped, but I don't understand. I couldn't leave no matter what. So I just want to say that, look, we get a lot of that stuff over here. Like, we get any quarterback we draft, we get BYU fan, we get USC fans. Everybody comes. I hope you stay with us, Gene, and see how bad it really is out there, because you have had quite a delightful football life, football fandom. We, on the other hand, are bloody stumps emotionally. So,
We've been through it.
Gene, I want you to know. Gene, I want you to know, misery loves company. You're more than welcome over here in Jets land. We'd be happy to have you. We'll trade all the picks for you. We love it. I saw Matthew is increasing his membership. Thank you so much, Matthew. I love it. He jumps into the first class tier. Matthew, I'll add your name to the end of the live streams. It's not going to happen at the end of this one, but you'll see it moving forward at the end of that. But thank you all the same. Dom C dropped in with a $10 super chat as well. He says Michigan center Oluwatimi was the D-bag in the Senior Bowl interview. Oh, screw that guy. I don't want him. I don't want that guy. I hope when he gets drafted, he trips walking up the stairs. Hit the like button, people. Tuesday night panel rocks. Dom C, we love you. Yeah, screw that guy. I can't believe that was the one. What's funny is that was the one I heard had like the least good workout at the Senior Bowl. So to know he was an asshole too. I'm sorry you had to put up with that, Dom C. That's bullshit. Green Bean, any thoughts on Mr. Michigan center?
Yeah, dude, you know what? I have the interview. I think I might have put it. It might be on my page. Like I uploaded a few of the interviews. Dom even said like, "Why'd you pick that one? The guy was a jerk." I'm like, I don't know. I just grabbed it. My intention was to put all of them up, so I just grabbed one. But he's right. That should have been last. Everybody was so great, and I picked like the one D bag, and then and put it up there. So yeah, okay, Oluwatimi. So right, anybody, whenever we're doing your mocks, don't even pick him. Don't pick center Oluwatimi in your mocks. He was a jerk to our boy Dom C.
So Green Bean, I think you need to have that video ready or send it to me for the draft stream, because Dom C, I think are you going to be hanging out with us back behind the scenes? I think you will. If not, hopefully you will.
It is.
But I think when
your channel.
What was that?
It is. It is on Green Bean's channel.
See, there you go. What we can do is when that guy gets picked, we can show what kind of asshole he was to Dom C, and we get Dom C's feedback on the pick as well.
Yeah, everybody was so great. Like, what a fun thing it is. Like, they're all excited. They don't know who the hell you are. Like, even who was it? Mingo, the wide receiver, made fun of my name. He's like, Green Bean. How Green Bean? Really? Like, he made fun of me. Like, but there's a lot of. It's very loose. It's very fun. It's very laid back. And then you got this asshole. He's like, yeah, what? Well, whatever. Like, that's how he was. Oh, he's such a jerk. Poor Dom.
Just no time for anyone. Screw him. Radovan hops in with a $5 super chat, says, Minnesota based. You guys don't understand. We're negotiating with terrorists in Green Bay. They have no idea what they're doing and are willing to drag this out. I'm all about it. Let them drag it out. I have no problem waiting till after the draft, using every pick I have at my disposal, and then making a deal post June 1st, because I'm going to make the Packers eat some of that $60 million bonus. Or I think Joe Douglas will. And he'll be like, oh yeah, you want that first round pick so bad? I'll give it to you, but that is the only way you're going to get it, is if you pony up some of the money on that bonus, and then we don't have as big of a dead cap hit on the back end. I like it, Radovan. What do you think, Matt? We're dealing with terrorists over there? Is that what's happening in Green Bay?
Nah, I think they're just trying to save face. I get it. I understand why they're trying to do it over there, but it's it is what it is. It'll get done. I'm not worried. I know people are all up in arms about it. It's going to be okay. The deal is going to get done. None of these teams can afford to back out of it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I don't fault Green Bay for wanting to get the moon and the stars for their Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, that to me makes the most sense. If I had Aaron Rodgers on my team, I'd be like, yo, look at Russell Wilson, look at Watson. I want 2 firsts. Like, that's what I want. The issue is the trade where you were going to get it was last year. Now that he's got the big contract, you're kind of up Schitt's Creek. Like, you're in a rough spot. I don't know. Green Bean, what do you think about the negotiations with Green Bay? Are you like rubbed the wrong way by what they're asking for, Jermaine Johnson and that sort of stuff, or you kind of get it?
Well, I will say this: that little flub that you just had with GB, so calling it green bean. And,
Oh, dude, Green Bay and green bean.
killing me. It is killing me. I can't wait till this is over just on that alone. Everybody, I don't know what the hell anybody's. I think everybody's like, why GB's being an asshole.
I read it wrong. Radovan, there's terrorists inside Green Bean now.
Bean.
That's what it is. I was totally wrong. He had some bad food and the chili's causing him some problems.
That's right. And that is more accurate. There are definitely terrorists living in here trying to kill me. These guys, but yeah, I mean, I think Matt said it really well. It's like you got to remember too. At the end of this, just like every other trade that Joe Douglas has been involved in, there are opinions and comments, and every single trade, people have said, "How in the world did he pull that off? How can Pete Carroll? I mean, how can Andy Reid, like whoever it is, he just gets the best out of anything." And it's like, they know that. I'm sure that they agreed to something and then they kind of had a minute removed and they said, wait, whatever it is that we feel good about, we're getting screwed. Somehow, some way, this guy's going to screw us. So they just kind of fortified their position. And I understand, like, they don't want to fall into that same category. Again, it's happened every time Joe Douglas has made a trade, even with Gettleman and Leo. I mean, every time people went, really? Holy shit, how did he do that? And they don't want to be that. And I can understand that. I just think at some point, like Radovan is kind of insinuating, you got to kind of let him go. We got Brett Favre for a fourth. Different organization, same team, different group of people, of course, different staff. But it's like, that's kind of what we're looking at here. All right, you want a third? Okay, we'll give you a third. You know what I mean? Maybe a third and a conditional, whatever next year. Okay, sure. But let's stop with the two firsts.
Ron Weiss dropped in with a super chat. He says, "Rush, let's draft Tom Sawyer, baby. Love you guys." I don't know if there's any lyrics involved with that particular song. Matt, how you taking Ron's comment here?
Yeah, isn't Tom Sawyer a Rush song?
Oh, it definitely is. I just
like
wasn't sure if there was more than just that. Maybe it's Rush to go get this trade done. That's what he's getting at. I don't know. Green Bean, any thoughts on the song choice
going
here?
Through the lyrics right now. I'm trying to find it, the hidden meaning, Ron.
I have it pulled up. My only thing I could think of was though his mind is not for rent, don't put him down as arrogant. It's like, oh, maybe that's Rodgers being arrogant or not arrogant. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
There it is. Yeah. Let's draft Tom Sawyer, baby. Let's do it. Maybe that's what it is. He's calling Aaron Rodgers Tom Sawyer. I mean, I'm in, Ron. Let's do it. I'm in.
Chris Bradigan celebrating 24 months of membership. Chris, you the man. He says, "I can't wait to win 14 games this year." Yeah, what do you guys think the win total is going to be? Like last year, if the Jets had scored at least 21 points in their games, they would have won, I think it was 12 or 13 games. I think it was an additional 5 more games. And that doesn't factor in like the ripple effect of what would have happened, I guess, if we had scored actual more points. But I would say the Jets' floor this year with Rodgers it's got to be 11 wins is the floor. I think 13 would be my prediction, but 11 should be the floor. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, 11 for the floor. I think 11 or 12 is where I'm going to end up. 14 would be phenomenal. I just can't picture myself with a straight face predicting the Jets to go 14-3.
Green Bean, what about you? 17-0? 20-0? Beat the Patriots?
Right. Can we beat the Patriots? I think if Aaron Rodgers comes here and we're able to keep this, we remain relatively healthy, I think that we're a 12-win team, 12-win plus. Yeah, that's what I think.
Brian Bogan drops in, says, "Sign OBJ just to keep him off New England and Buffalo." I'm I don't want to say anti-Odell because that's not necessarily where I'm at. I'm anti-guaranteed money for Odell. Like if Odell wants to come in on a $4 million contract, that could be worth up to $12 million if he plays every game. Like if the incentive is just that he's healthy and ready to play, that's fine by me. I just don't want to give him guaranteed money and have him play no games for us, or he pulls a hamstring and he's sitting out for 3-4 weeks. Like that doesn't do us any good. But yeah, I could get behind a wide receiver core of Wilson, Elijah Moore, Lazard, and Odell as your fourth? Like, come on. Who has corners to cover that wide receiver quad right there? That's nuts to me. Matt, where do you fall on the OBJ stuff?
Kind of depends on the cost, but I don't think he's going to sign for something that I would feel comfortable paying him.
That's a good way to put that.
There's also a lot of that creates a lot of mouths to feed, and I don't see how Odell, Elijah, and Garrett are all, gung ho, this is great, without at some point being like, I need the ball. And it's like, oh, well, shit, here we go.
Yeah, it's like, Elijah Moore already made noise on a winning streak. Like, what makes you think he's going to be any sort of tamer with an additional mouth to feed? Green Bean, where do you fall on this Odell stuff?
Like you said, I mean, like when you just look at it through a football perspective, it's like having OBJ as your third or fourth. Like, I mean, come on, you're talking lethal, right? At the same time, it's not that easy. I mean, it's just not that simple. Number one, like Matt said, there's a cost. Now he's saying I didn't ask for 20 million, but he also said I ain't taking 4. So it's it's somewhere between 4 and 20, right? So that's already kind of like we don't have much money. But I think the larger issue is we have Elijah Moore who has teetered on Punk, right? He's there. He can be that way very easily. Garrett Wilson, I don't have too much worry about, but he's young. He's young. OBJ's like a legend to these young wide receivers, man. He can come in here and be that one drop of red dye in your cup of crystal clear water. What happens? Boom, it's red. And OBJ can do that to this young core. And I don't want to deal with it, man. Like Lazard's coming over. He's known as what? Hard worker, team guy, shows up early, stays late. That's who great. Bring him in. Joe Douglas has spent 3 years getting rid of OBJs. You know what I mean? Anybody with that had the same stink on them, they're gone. He built a very strong young clubhouse. I wouldn't go for it, man. Like if he comes, I'm gonna root. I'm gonna be excited at the football potential, but the whole time in the back of my brain, I'm gonna be waiting for it. And if anything happens, if there's think about OBJ on this team during our slide last year. What's happening? He's been an asshole, and I don't think we need it, quite frankly.
Yeah, for me, I would need to have the security of, hey, I'm going to be able to cut Odell at any point if he steps out of line. Like that, it's the guaranteed money that's an issue with me. It's the injuries that's an issue with me. It's the attitude that's an issue with me. If you can hedge those bets for me and I'm able to he doesn't get the guaranteed money if he's injured. Okay, that checks that off the list. Oh, I can cut his ass if he starts, acting up and causing trouble. I'm okay with that. You don't cut Elijah Moore because you got him on the cheap for 2.5 more years is at the time, of that sort of thing. So it's interesting. I don't need to go Odell, but I'd be fine if they did. I just don't want to pay him the guaranteed money. Pedro drops in. He says, vote for Pedro. Pedro, we're going to vote for him. He says, patience is a virtue in this Rodgers saga. The more we wait, the better it gets for us. These cheese heads are rotten and sour. Go Jets. I don't know if I'd call them rotten and sour. I'd call them like stinky cheese, maybe. It's moldy cheese. But I would say, as the saga goes on, I actually think the Jets lose a little bit of leverage. I mean, the nice thing is you get the benefit of using your draft picks, so that's what helps us out. But you're going to pay more on the back end the closer you get to training camp because the Jets are going to want to have Rodgers in here. They're not going to risk the potential of a Super Bowl run on being stingy with a fucking, extra third or whatever they're trying to get from us. Matt, your thoughts on waiting and patience being a virtue here?
I see where he's coming from. I don't think they're going to have to wait that much long. Again, like I said earlier on the show, I don't want to keep having the same answer, but I think it's best for both sides to get this over with. So I don't think it's going to be like we're in June still talking about it, or even like right before the draft. I think we have a solution before we get to April.
That's fascinating to me because I'm like so the opposite way. Like I can't see a situation. Well, I shouldn't say I can't see. It would be the Packers bending the knee to trade him before the draft. Like the Jets have so much leverage prior to the draft right now that you can just sit back and like feel comfortable with whatever the trade's gonna be if Rodgers comes here. But like, I really think the Packers will get a better offer if they wait till after the draft. Green Bean, where are you falling on the Rodgers saga? And if patience is a virtue, will we get a better deal if we wind up waiting?
I mean, right. That's the thing. It's, like what we're saying, we're using the word cave, right? Who's going to cave? So that would insinuate that the person who can wait the longest, it's the game of chicken. Somebody's going to pull away or you're both going to die. I mean, that's somebody has to pull away and you lose the game of chicken. Let me say this though. I'm, as I shared, I'm like kind of bugging out on Brett Favre tonight. I got stuck in some wormholes. Do you realize that, dude, that the Green Bay Packers, so our boy, what was his name? Gene, right? Gene.
Yeah.
Dude, they have had 7 MVPs in the last 2 decades. 7.
That's wild. They're all quarterbacks, though, right? Like, is there anyone that's not a quarterback?
2 guys.
Yeah,
but they've had 7 MVP years. Like we don't see that.
I don't think we've ever had one. I don't think we've ever had a league MVP.
I don't think we've ever had a league MVP. I don't think so. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Dude, imagine we're gonna get the odds-on favorite probably. I would think to win MVP would be Rodgers coming back with the coordinator that got him 2 MVPs, plus coming onto a loaded team. The Jets getting Hard Knocks. You get Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, more than likely Comeback Player of the Year with Breece Hall. Like,
right,
I love it. Get me all worked up. Matthew comes in and says, I keep seeing Rodgers is 39 and washed, so he won't help us. We almost make the playoffs with Wilson. Healthy Hall, AVT, and now Lazard sweep the Pats and the Bills. Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. The people that are saying Rodgers is washed, I can't believe you're trading for a 39-year-old quarterback. Like, I'm not afraid of the Jets. You realize we had 39th ranked quarterback play last year and could have won the East with, like, below average? Below average wins you the other Buffalo game, probably both Patriot games, and probably the Jaguar game. Like, not even counting Minnesota, where Braxton Berrios winds up dropping the game-winning touchdown pass. Like, the Jets don't need top 5 level quarterback play to be a really strong team. They need average. Like, we're talking that 5 inches, boys and girls. That's what we're trying to get to. You get the 5 inches, you're going to be just fine. It's how you use those 5 inches. Yes, I am talking about that. Matt, how you feeling? Sorry, I'm not insinuating. Matt's I'm gonna stop that right there.
Oh God, that's great. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand. Like, yeah, he doesn't have to be a top 3 quarterback anymore. But if he's even what he was last year, which is still a top half of the league quarterback, then you're going to be in a good spot. Plus, you have the weapons, which is something that Green Bay didn't really have last year. Plus, he's not playing with a broken thumb, so you have some higher upside. I think it could be all okay.
Green Bean, how are you using your 5 inches? Incorrectly. The wrong way. I will second though what you guys are saying. I mean, dude, we had the worst quarterback play in the NFL last year, and we were in it till the second last week of the season. And, and we could have easily taken the AFCs. We almost beat Buffalo. If Michael Carter didn't fumble that, and if CJ Mosley didn't have that freak out, we were in that game, dude. We didn't start losing games till the very end. We're just okay, we're out of this. But we were serious, man. And if we just had average, like you said, even below average, we win the AFC East. So yeah, man, I think it's that close for this team, which is why they're acting the way that they are. I mean, people are saying, "What happened? Why is Joe Douglas switching gears and freaking out?" Because he knows everything else that they did is working. And you never know how long it's going to last. So we need to make a big move right now and capitalize on this, and then we'll deal with whatever comes after this next year or the year after. But you see it. It's this team is ready to burst. We have so much young talent on it, and it's good that they're trying to get it done. And dude, like I said, average play changes us. MVP level play, we're taking the Miami Dolphins toast tradition for the only undefeated team away from them. That's the ceiling. That's how great it is,
dude. Well, that's what's crazy is the Jets beat Buffalo, who at the time was the 1 seed. The Jets got 150 yards from Zach Wilson, and we had No AVT, no Corey Davis, no Breece Hall. You're missing 3 of your top 4 offensive players versus the best team in the division, possibly one of the best teams in the conference, and you get 150 yards and a touchdown out of your quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers can do that, I'm going to be just fine. Just fine.
Yeah. Right.
Scar City drops in. What's up, Scar City? He says, Brian 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐞𝐚𝐫𝐲 went to the Combine and heard horror stories of Joe Douglas from his friends at the Seahawks and Panthers. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's shaking in his boots. He's looking at all the trades that Joe Douglas has made. I don't think we have lost a trade yet. I don't know if there's, I mean, the only one that I would consider maybe you could argue is the trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker, but we got an all-pro, so like, I'm cool with it. Like, you know, you gave up the 2/3 to go up and get a guard. That's like the knock, I think, that people might say on his resume. Green Bean, how you feeling about Joe Douglas and his trade history? You think the Packers GM is maybe shaking in his boots a little bit?
I absolutely think that. I think, you know, look, there's and just on the AVT trade, as much as I didn't like it initially, I've done too much work in my 3rd round observations and predictions to not have any fucking 3rd round. I was pissed. I wanted my 3rd, but he did get a 4th round pick as well. So it was, you know, he used the 2/3. So really what he did was he gave up a 3rd and he dropped back from his 2nd 3rd to a 4th, which is better, by the way. It's significantly better. But here's the thing. Steve Jobs, you remember Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs is the guy who created Apple, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in his biography, they said that they used to say that he had a reality distortion field around him. That wherever he was, if he was talking to someone, they bought into anything he was saying, as ridiculous as it might be, as difficult as it was, and they became believers and they would agree to it. Then he would leave and they'd go, this is fucking impossible. There's no way I can do. So they had a thing. The other Apple employees had a thing. They had a safe word, so to speak. So like if Ryan's talking to Steve Jobs and I saw it, I would say like pickles and ice cream. And Ryan would go, oh shit, I'm in the reality distortion field. I gotta know, because they knew anybody that was with him, he could get you to do literally anything and believe it, right? Joe Douglas is kind of the same way, in my opinion. He can get people to go, yeah, sure, 2 firsts and a 3rd and a player. Yeah. For a safety, I'm in. Like, he can get you to do that. So I think what Scarcities is saying here is, I mean, you know, humorously, I think to some degree at play, teams know now, like we said this, teams are going to start, you know, being afraid or being unwilling to take Joe Douglas's calls. And I think that to some degree that's accurate. They know this guy, he's never lost a trade. Now, he's made some trades that were just kind of advantageous just for the players. Like he sent Avery Williamson up to the 9-0 Steelers to kind of give, you know, an aging good player to, you know, he got he moved from a 6th to a 5th. He gave Steve McClendon to the Bucks for a 7th. Like he did some of that stuff just to kind of give guys an opportunity and things like that. But as far as like his real trades, he hasn't lost one yet. Now, not to say he never will, right? You know, nobody's batting 1,000 in life. But up to this point, like if he caves, it's going to be the first time. And this guy knows it.
Ooh, Matt, you think the Packers GM shaking a little bit in his boots after seeing how Joey D handles trades?
He should. I mean, anytime something happens and you get the Joe Douglas video to the Stone Cold music in the background, like, I don't know, the hairs on my arm stand up a little bit. I think he should be shaking a little bit. Look, Joe Douglas has been really good with trades. He's had a really nice draft class. You have some improvement in some other areas, but trading is his bread and butter. I agree. I don't think there's been a trade that they've really lost yet. So yeah, he should be a little bit nervous.
So I saw, well, first off, the whole time Green Bean and you guys are talking, I'm thinking, these are not the droids you're looking for. Yeah. Joe Douglas waving his hand, saying, this is not the pick you're going to get. But I saw Mar Gallet hopping in there saying, they didn't like the Leonard Williams trade. So that was more an issue with how our former GM drafted more so than Douglas making the trade. Because we took Quinnen Williams, we were not going to invest into Leonard Williams. He was going to hold us hostage. We were going to have to pay him a ton of money. So it made sense to move off of him. I would say maybe that was the worst value return based on the player that he is. I think that's fair. I think
not really,
I think,
Ryan. Not,
dude,
at the time,
Leonard Williams wound up getting a $20 million contract. You can't tell me
but,
that getting a third for him and a fifth for him was like
But the thing,
peachy.
but that's after the fact. The thing is, at the time, the predictions for Leonard Williams, because there were the rumors that he could be one of the guys that are on the trade. The rumors were a fourth, one.
Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and again, he got a third and a fourth, which again, the Giants and Leonard Williams played ball with each other, and they kind of didn't sign him, and he didn't sign with another team till after the date, and then they ended up getting a fifth. So he got 2 picks for a player that up to that point was good, but disappointing. Now, again, he had that 1 year after it. He got a $21 million contract, but since that contract, he's fallen right back into his average mediocrity. He's a good football player. You never take anything from him. But again, it's not at the time. It was a very good trade. It was considered high value. Where people are like, wow, he got 2 picks for Leo.
Do you remember how many sacks he had that year when he was traded from the Jets?
I think it was 3 or 4. It wasn't a lot.
Oh yeah, the
zero.
next year he ended up getting
He had a
zero.
Yeah, he had a
zero.
He had a nice number after that. It just sucks because like
Yeah,
I think a lot of us liked Leonard Williams. It was just like we wasted him. It was like he never, really got to a ceiling because we didn't have edge rushers. It was kind of the Quinnen story before last year.
Well, that's like I don't know if it was you or Matt. I forget already that said it. It was more about like our GMs. They just like McCagnon in particular, he already clogged the joint with Quinnen Williams. You had a younger and arguably better player, and it's like, well, we don't need this. It's redundant. You know what I mean? He's breaking down the team, and so anyway, it was like
the
just
second
like
time he did it too. McCagnon did it. Wasn't he the one that drafted? Or no, was it 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐞
drafted? But he used the top
he drafted Leo when we had Richardson. That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was like it was this whole
exactly.
defensive tackle kind
And
of
Wilkerson.
thing.
Right.
And
well,
we had Wilkerson at the time still.
Not only them two, we had Wilkerson, Snacks Harrison, Sheldon Richardson, Quentin Coples, and he drafted Leo. And then he drafted fucking Quinnen. So it's just like it's a crazy thing that we were doing. That's why a lot of Jets fans, even now that we do kind of need
Quentin Coples was in there, is what Carlos says.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a McCagnon pick though.
No, he was a Rex pick.
That was earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Rex pick. Well, so was Wilkerson. I mean, they were Rex picks, but they were here.
But who signed Wilkerson? Was that McCagnon?
McCagnon.
Yes.
McCagnon gave him the extension.
so. Yeah, so he signed Wilkerson. He had Richardson. We had just D tackles on D tackles at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah. Nuts.
Matt, how do you feel about the Leonard Williams trade specifically?
I remember I was in the radio station where I worked, and there was a Giant fan there, and I jumped up and I screamed and I said, "Thank you for doing business with Joe Douglas and for taking on Leonard Williams," because he had 0 sacks in 8 games with the Jets, and you just drafted your guy in 3rd overall. Obviously, you were gonna move forward with him. I was fine with it.
Yeah. And Leo was a good player, right? Like, even though, he was disappointing, but the best thing about him is that he was always healthy. Like, he played every game, and he was a good player. Like, he was known as like good locker room. He worked hard. He was a good football.
You could be proud of Leonard Williams. I like Leonard from that perspective. 100%.
Yeah. Right, totally. So, I mean, like, again, like looking at it through the following year, nobody expected Leonard Williams to get, I think it was 11 or 13 sacks or something like that. And then he got that contract. That was like surprising. And good for them. Good for him, right? But at the time when the trade was made, it was considered surprisingly high value for the player, especially where he was when we traded him. I talked to Giants fans too. I had 2 in particular that I talked to. They both thought that they overpaid. Both.
Donald drops in. He says, "We will be monstrous with all these weapons." Matt, how you feeling about the Jets' weapons this year?
I think they have a lot of really nice weapons. I love the starting wide receiver trio. Adding Lazard, I think complements well with what Wilson and Elijah Moore are in that receiver room. I like the tight ends. I would love to see more Jeremy Ruckert. Brees Hall, we know, can be utilized as a pass catcher. Same thing with Michael Carter. And I think Michael Carter bounces back as a runner next year too. So I'm really excited. I think they're going to have a really nice, weaponry.
Yeah, I think the firepower on this offense is something special, and just the fact that you're getting Brees Hall back is oh so special. Citybert hops in and says, so we got to believe Wingo, right? It feels like there was a deal and Green Bay backed out. I think there was probably enough there for them to allow the Jets to go talk to Rodgers. And then what happened was they started thinking about it, and they're like, oh, wait a second. We're going to get had by Joe Douglas. Like, we got to make sure we get more for Aaron Rodgers. And now we're like a little panicked. 'Cause I don't know if they just like, would they have allowed us to talk to Aaron Rodgers without any sort of financial compensation in there? Because if that's the case, that is a huge red flag that says we just want to get rid of him. It doesn't matter. Like, just go talk to him and get this contract off our books. Green Bean, how are you feeling about, the Wingo stuff? And do you think Green Bay may have backed out of a deal?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I think Citybert's nailing it. There was all sorts of speculation from this way, from that way. We heard about lists of demands and meetings and this and that. None of it was accurate except for one dude, Trey Wingo. He's the guy who said it. What he said ended up being real. And then he said some more stuff, and he said, just trust me, this is where it is. I think that he's, up to this point, he's proven it. Like, if you're going to choose someone to buy into, I think Trey Wingo's a good bet where Aaron Rodgers is concerned. We've already seen dramatically that Schefter doesn't have a line in. Rappaport doesn't have a line in. Not with this guy. Around the NFL, absolutely. Not with Aaron Rodgers. For however he did it, I don't know. Trey Wingo's the guy to buy into if you're going to buy into anybody.
So do you think there was a trade in place? And now that is it like weird that something hasn't gone through? Because we heard from Wingo saying, hey, it's going to get done next week and stuff. Like, do you think Green Bay backed out of a deal that may have already been in place? Or they're asking for more now because of, whatever?
Yeah, I think that is what happened. I mean, look, they gave the Jets permission to talk to him. Why would they, and fly out, why would they do that if there wasn't at least a handshake deal in place? You know what I mean? Something, the overall architecture of the deal was more than likely in place. A few details, a few dots, a little crossing the T's action. But I think, that when it happened and they realized that Aaron Rodgers did want to go, they just said, you know what, on second thought, we want more. So they're kind of being douches. I buy that.
Matt, how you feel about the negotiations? You think Green Bay may have backed out of a deal that was already agreed upon, and that's why we're kind of waiting, or you think something still gets done this week?
I owe my life to Trey Wingo. Something gets done this week. I am sticking to it, baby.
Pedro drops in. Pedro says, gentlemen, let's all meet up in Vegas for the Jets-Vegas game where Rodgers beats Jimmy G so bad he will have to use his lifetime brothel to recover.
Are the Jets out there this year?
Yeah, Jets are in Vegas. That's why when we were talking about Derek Carr, I was saying how the Jets are going to have 11 home games because you got the 9 home games we already have. You have the 10th home game with the Giants, and then you have Carr going back to Vegas to play. That would be 11. Heck, you could even have 12 because the Super Bowl's in Vegas.
I was going to say, I think we wait to the Super Bowl you might never see me again. if I end up
if we make it to the Super Bowl, I would almost be more apt to like fly out for Super Bowl week, spend the week out there, and then like come home for the actual Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't
know if I could get paid to get in. The Super Bowl is such an on TV experience.
Yeah.
What do you think, Green Bean? We going out to Vegas if the Jets make the Super Bowl? We'll go for the week and then like bail on the Super Bowl itself.
You guys want to hear? I'll tell you a short story. I had a different life. I've shared with you guys. I lived in a van and I made comedy for Comedy Central and I did porn and everything. Where that life came to a complete halt and exploded was in Las Vegas. All right?
Oh, we're not going
I was.
Nope.
Yeah, dude, like I'm going to tell you, like, if I never go to Las Vegas again, I'm going to have gone there too soon. So
fair. I respect that.
I respect
I respect that.
That's just me.
Anthony drops in. Oh, and guys, we're getting down to the last 9 minutes of the stream, so make sure you hit that like button. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we are going to pick a t-shirt qualifier and give away a t-shirt in the next 10 minutes here. And if you want to become a member of the channel, hit the blue join button, because then you're going to get access to the 10 o'clock mock happening at 10:30, where we go over a mock draft with Aaron Rodgers in the fold. But it's only for members. So if you want to join that, you can certainly do that. Anthony hops in with a super chat, says, how would we feel if Michael Clemens put on a little weight, kept his monstrous strength, and we moved him to D-line next to Quinnen, maybe even John Franklin Myers back inside, and we rotate Quinnen and Johnson back and forth, go Jets. I'm cool with having the best 4 defensive linemen on the field at the same time, the same way I am with the top 5 offensive linemen on the field at the same time, almost like with Elijah Vera Tucker. Like, I don't care what position you play. If you're better than the next guy, let's put you at that position and let's roll. But I think on the defensive line, there's certain traits that guys are really good at, and I don't know enough about Michael Clemens as far as his run stopping ability. Like, can he eat up space? Like, that's kind of the defensive tackle that we're looking for, and it doesn't seem like the Jets necessarily want to move JFM in there full time. I think the rotation is fine, but I would like to get a lower cost, big old hog molly that can go in there on first down and like short yardage situations and just eat up space. Matt, how you feeling about maybe moving Michael Clemens inside?
Yeah, I know he can do it, but I think he'd be a little bit smaller. And look, I like the idea of JFM inside. The Jets they've shown how much they like him on the edge the last couple of years, which that's fine. I respect that. I mean, JFM's a really, really solid player. If they don't want to mess with it, don't mess with it. They definitely do need another interior guy, though. They just it's gotta be the right kind. It can't be that like 3-4 nose tackle type, like a Snacks Harrison doesn't make sense because he's too big. Same thing with oh my God, who did they just have a couple years ago that they let walk to Jacksonville?
Oh, McClendon. Well, McClendon went to Tampa, didn't he?
But that's also a good one. I was thinking of oh my God, what the hell's his name? Come on, someone in the chat's gonna give it to me.
Marshall. No, Marshall went to
Fatukasi.
Oh, Foley Fatukasi. That's
oh my
right.
God, I wish I was listening.
Damn, I can't believe I couldn't think of that.
Foley, the other good McCagnon pick.
Yeah, seriously. When you can count on two fingers. Green Bean, how you feel about Clemens possibly sliding inside, or maybe John Franklin Myers sliding inside?
Well, we talked a lot about the JFM slide inside last year, and he did that time. I think JFM would be better inside, but clearly this staff doesn't agree. They have slightly more pull than I do, unfortunately, or else you'd see that more. But the Clemens thing is interesting. He played inside. I saw something. It was a low percentage, but he did it more than once, right? And I think he was relatively effective. That could be interesting. I do think that he would be mitigated somewhat. I mean, I think his best position is going to be on the outside, where you can just kind of get that run that and just steamroll. Kind of getting that step to be before he engages the tackle. But he's got the strength, he's got the attitude to do it, and I think in a pinch, I like that he has that versatility. But I wouldn't want to see us resort to that because I don't think that's his best position.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting if that's part of the Jets' plans, like why Lawson's not getting cut is because they're planning on moving one of those exterior or outside guys inside, and then they're going to need Lawson a little bit more. The Lawson thing fascinates me because I think if you can restructure him and bring him back for the 2 years you want to go for a Super Bowl with Rodgers, that's really appealing to me. But I just don't know how you do it because I want to see more playing time out of, Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens and Bryce Huff. I'd love to see Bryce Huff on the field more frequently than he currently is. There is a little bit of me that's kind of scared that they're almost trying to bait someone into pulling the trigger on a second-round pick for Bryce Huff. Do you get that feeling?
I don't know, though. I don't know. I fear that, but I don't know if I agree, Ryan. I'd be okay. I think they like him. I think they'll match.
Well, no, I think they like him too. But if you're putting the second-round tender on him instead of the first-round tender, I think it's only $1.5 million difference. So, like you're saying, for $1.5 million, like we'd rather have the second-round pick than Bryce Huff.
No, it's more than that. It's $2 million. So I think that where our cap is, I think where our cap is, it's just smart. Like I think like if they have to pay more,
It's a
they will.
strategic one as opposed to like a hey, we're comfortable losing you for this.
That's what I think. I mean, I actually said first round tender in my my season prediction. My
Same.
the early one that we do. I said first round tender, but as I thought about it, I think it makes more sense because he's a situational guy. I mean, we've looked at him quite extensively. He's too small, too limited to be a full-time guy, 3 downs. Like if he's on the field for 3 downs, I had a long talk with Dom C in one stream about it. Like they're going to exploit that. Like he's got that burst to the outside. They're going to be running between the tackle and the guard all day on Huff if he's in there first down. And so anyway, he's limited. So teams probably won't. But I think if somebody says, hey, we'll give you that $6 million, I think the Jets will match it. They don't want to lose him.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Where did I see this in here? Citybird says your Aaron Rodgers stat predictions and the room. I'm not sure what the room means, but stat predictions for Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say he's going to break our yardage record, so over 4,000 yards. It's like a touch over 4,015 or something like that. I think he's going to break our touchdown record, which is 30 or 31 touchdowns by Fitzmagic. And I think he has single-digit interceptions, or I'll say not more than 10. It'll be 10 or below for interceptions. Matt, where do you think Aaron Rodgers' stats shake out?
Ooh, I'll go 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, 10 picks, something like that.
Ooh, I like it. Very similar, very similar. Green Bean, where do you think Aaron Rodgers' stats shake out?
Oh, I think that if he comes here and he plays for us all 17 games, I think we're going to see a 5,000-yard quarterback with 35 plus touchdowns. That's what, and less than 10 picks. That's what I think.
Oh, God,
Garrett
that's
Wilson,
so exciting. Anthony drops in with the $1 super chat. I see Jet Strong dropping in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Ron Weiss hops in with a super chat, says, if we meet in Vegas, we need to have FM stay at the main delay bay, LOL. I don't know what that means. that is lost on me. I apologize. Green Bean, in your wisdom, do you have any idea what Mandalay Bay is?
As a matter of fact, I do. My friend, check this out. Another short story. As you guys know, I was a very bad heroin addict, but first I was on Percocets, and I didn't know how addictive Percocets were. So when I went out to Los Angeles to shoot our first pilot for Comedy Central, it happened to be my birthday. A very, very good friend of mine was the consigliere at the concierge at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. It's the hotel that's based on Australia. So we drove to Las Vegas through on Route 15 from LA to Vegas. And that was the first night I ran out of Percocets like the day before, and I started getting sick at dinner. And that was the first place. So I kicked opiates for the first time in the fucking Mandalay Bay, dude. That's where I first did it. The first time I ever went through opiate withdrawal was in the Mandalay Bay. There you go. That's what it is.
That's, I mean, I guess it's a good and a bad thing, right? Like the withdrawals are awful, but it's a good thing that you got out of it. So
well, now you know what it is. That's all.
Yeah. See, I see there's some, I guess that's where I don't know. All right, boys and girls, we've reached the end of our stream. And we got to pick some pick a t-shirt winner. So, should we do the Google thing and just pick a name, or we want to do odds or evens? What do you think, Green Bean?
What's that?
You know how we've done the Google random number generator?
It's more fun to do odds and evens.
All right, let's do some odds or evens here.
Let me get 2 more. Hold on.
You do that. You got that.
Yeah. Okay, we got Timo Fries. You're in the mix. All right. And
I see Eric in there, but I haven't seen the little icon pop up. Give me just a second. Come on, Eric. Yeah.
TS.
Yeah. Eric wants to be a part of the 10 o'clock mock. Let's go. 10:30, boys and girls. Member only stream coming out. Very, very excited. Green Bean, you get your extra qualifiers over there?
Yep, I got it.
I
good.
love it. All right. Let's see. How many people we got? How many we got over there, Green Bean? I guess it would just be divided by 4. So it's 10. We got 11 or 12. We got 12. Cool. All right. 3.
I got 18.
Ooh. Okay, cool. I'm down with that. Yeah, you know what we should do? We should do like anyone that donates a super chat plus whatever's qualified. I feel like that's like probably a good way to do qualifiers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have what, 446? So yeah, I got 18 people. That's what I got.
Cool. Well, we'll do that moving forward since we're at the end of the show right now.
Learning on the fly.
Yeah, sorry. That was audible. All right. 3, 2, 1. We got an 8. That's an even.
8. All right. Kelvin Joseph, you're out. Greg Gagne, even though Nightbot picked you 3 times, you're out. New York Jets superfan is out. Scott Bombcheck is out. Warm Up is out. Rob V is gone. Time Day is gone. Timo Fries is gone. And the fan favorite FM is out.
Oh, no.
3, 2, 1. What is that? That's 10. Yeah, we got 10. That's an even.
A Fungus Among Us is gone. Johnny Bravo is gone. The Main Catch is gone. And Harlan Abraham is gone. All right, we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, we got 5. It's an odd.
Haley Dukes, the first one, is out. Tony Alexio is out. That's it. We're down to 2. D. Santana and Rico the Pup.
Ooh, okay. Callie, I see dropping in the chat. How do I become a member? There's a little blue join button, either on my channel homepage or below one of my YouTube videos, either one. You can click on that, and it'll give you all the instructions there. E-Boogie drops in with a super chat saying, it's just a little video game controller jumping up and down. I wish I could show that on the screen. It just says like the text of it. So it says video game controller jumps up and down excitedly. I was like, well, that's not as fun.
Well, we can see it in the chat. I know. I wish at least it says it on StreamYard. It doesn't even say it. It just does nothing.
It's got like a block, like a little square, like missing emoji or whatever. Yeah. All right. So chat, give us a number plus whatever we throw up. 3, 2, 1. All right. So we got a 5. 5 plus whatever number pops up after Rico the Pup. 5 and 5. It's 10. It's an even. It's an even. Who we got?
Rico the Pup is out. D. Santana is the winner.
I love it. D. Santana, reach out to me on email. Hit me up at jetstalk247@gmail.com. I'll get your information. I'll send you out a cool shirt. And thank you so much for playing with us tonight. Man, we've got a whole lot of innuendos that happened throughout this night, and playing with us is certainly one of them here at the end. All right, boys and girls, we've reached the end of our stream. Any last words for our panel, Green Bean?
I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do an After Hours Jets Fest 30 minutes only. We're only going to do 30 minutes tonight. I got to go to bed. I know. But we'll do that at 10:30 over at Green Bean Jets Fan on YouTube. If you want more Jets talk, we'll get a little bit more in.
I love it. Matt, any last words for our panel?
New episode of Just Jets comes out tomorrow. We're talking about where Aaron Rodgers would rank among the AFC quarterbacks.
Ooh, boys and girls, like I said, in just 25 minutes time, we got the members only 10 o'clock mock dropping. So make sure you join the channel and hang out over there. The video's already posted. We'll go over there and start hanging out in just a little bit. But boys and girls, this is Jets Talk signing off. We'll see you here next week, hopefully with Aaron Rodgers on the roster. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.
I think every single person in this locker room is a competitor at the highest level. So, yeah, when you feel as if your backs are against the wall, you never have to feel like you got to do it by yourself.
Unbelievable throw. Under pressure. Sacked by Quentin Williams. Right sideline, Uzama's got it.
You look to your left and your right, you got guys out there with you that our whole point is to help each other.
This one to Mims. That's Corey Davis climbing the ladder.
To be able to go out and lead these guys, just to know how hard these guys work and how important it is to them, and then you get that chance to lead them. Everything that happened that needed to happen for us, it almost felt like kind of like a sign, like you get like a second chance almost.
Gets extra pushes, running left.
Maybe a little extra life to breathe in the locker room.
Touchdown, Jets.